You know what I feel like?
What do you feel like?
When we do top fives?
What do you feel like when we do top fives?
A little bit of the bubbly.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly. Top 5 wrestlers of the decade.
I am Mr. Richie Moon, and I'm Kayfabe Adrian, and I'm Kayfabe Focus.
It's Kayfabe Avenue.
Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks, I am Mr. Richie Moon.
And I'm Kayfabe AJ.
And this is Kayfabe Avenue. This is our end of the year top 5 countdown list. And this is our top 5 wrestlers of the decade. This is a big one. There was a lot of debate with this.
A lot of debate. I think we spent, what, like 30, 40 minutes straight up.
We had to
got pretty hot.
It got hot. We got quote PA. We had this. Those people we would tip our hats to. We had to give them a nod because
we also considered our Facebook group.
Yes,
we have a Kayfabe Avenue Facebook group. Join us.
Facts. Over 400 members, growing. Yeah, baby.
We took their votes into account. We took our 30, 40 minute argument discussion. Tearing at each other's hairs and everything.
You had to, for your pick to get in there, you had to debate why it had to be in there, what the credentials, what they did, impact, influence.
Talking about a whole decade, 10 years. The longevity, their impact of just. Let's just get on to this.
We're gonna get into it. So top 5. This is my guy right here. Okay, this is
number 5.
This is the guy I think is going to lead the next decade in. And I love him, but I did not agree for him to be in this list. Number 5, Cody Rhodes.
I definitely agreed, and I guess I'll be the one to kind of top off why.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes started the beginning of this decade in WWE, in the Intercontinental title picture. He was the reason why the belt went away.
Hold on, was this during his dashing Cody Rhodes phase?
I'm not exactly sure the pinpoint the time of the dashing. I can't really.
I wasn't really watching wrestling at the time, but I was tuning in from time to time. I've seen him.
That was the rise of Cody Rhodes in general.
Grotesque Cody Rhodes.
You know, that run brought the white title out, and he was in a good mid card standing with, the IC title on SmackDown, and Cody was doing things, but then he started hitting a little. Slump.
He hit the glass ceiling.
The WWE glass ceiling. Yep. Yeah, he definitely did.
Yep.
Got in his slump. They changed his character. It's a Stardust, which was not done well at all. The ideas Cody actually had for the character would have been way better. WWE did not,
have Stardust.
Agree to
Stardust
the match that he had as far as the character went.
It was like Stardust on Raw and
Cody Rhodes on SmackDown or vice versa. Separating the two as different characters.
It's gold.
It's creative genius. He has a pair with Goldust. We see a good tag team. Mm-hmm. We like the brother feel dynamic, but ultimately it leads to him leaving. Now he leaves towards the end of this decade, but within the last 2 years, his impact is going to be felt for years. He, as far as wrestling goes. In his 1 year run out of WWE.
When he first left, he made a list of people that he wanted to face. I know Adam Cole was on that list. I know there's a couple of other people on that, people that are like superstars now across the board, whether in WWE, NXT, AEW, New Japan, whatever. Yeah. Like they're the top guys now, and he had a list of people that he wanted to face. Remember, he came out. Him and Brandy went to Impact. I think they went to Impact first.
Yeah.
I know they went to Ring of
Honor. They did.
That's when he really started to
jump into
really big stride. When
New Japan Pro Wrestling. He joined the Bullet Club. Mm-hmm. Kind of formed his own thing with Kenny and the Bucks.
But here's the thing, because when Cody came to the Bullet Club was big. But when Cody came to the Bullet Club...
At that time, they were probably already prominent for 4 years at that point.
I feel like Cody brought the Bullet Club to the next level because Cody was a Ring of Honor. That's when he had the Ring of Honor. We had the literal Ring of Honor.
He brought the mainstream people, the people that knew him from WWE. he brought those people and got.
And they were already
interested.
popular. People like Bullet Club was popular, and then bringing those two together, that's when they did the Raw Invasion. So that's when I first started noticing. This was like 2014.
But you got to consider the list of people that he made that spanned companies. So he's the first person to ever be at WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom. What's TNA Impact's Slammiversary? Bound for Glory.
He did the battle. That's a PWG. That's a big like independent Battle of Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying?
He's the first person in history to ever do those promotions, biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
The same year.
And he wasn't like the main. He wasn't like the opening act. Like he was like
he was prominent.
You know what I'm saying?
He's also won the IWGP
United States
Championship, the NWA Championship, the Ring of Honor Championship, holding them all at the same time while having the Trios Championship and Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So the accolades as far as wrestling goes.
3 different championships in 3 different companies.
At the same time.
Time.
It's ridiculous. So, going forward, the Elite leaves Ring of Honor and creates AEW, which right now is rivaling the scale of WCW and is actually vying as competition for WWE. Now, maybe it won't touch the juggernaut now, but it's building the steam.
It's building up.
And it's getting as much views as one of their main shows. And it's doing really well. It's giving the fans a real alternative.
The Elite have changed. The Elite have changed wrestling, and I feel like the Elite were always big. But I feel like when Cody joined the Bullet Club, which eventually turned into they broke off and became just the Elite on themselves. I feel like that's when they took it to a whole other level. And he had the vision to really being the son of Dustin, you know what I'm saying? Being the son of
That's where the main inspiration for everything AEW is coming from.
You know what I'm saying?
His experience with his dad.
He brought it to
the business.
I feel like that connection. I feel like he was the last piece of that puzzle that the Elite were missing to make AEW possible to where it was now. I feel like if there was no Cody, there would be no AEW. I feel like without Cody, maybe with the Bucks and maybe with those guys, maybe would they put on a show? Maybe, but I really don't. I think those guys probably would have signed with the WWE, but I feel like there would be no AEW without Cody. And you know what I'm saying?
That's a definite fact.
So
before we move on to number 4, the reason why he didn't want Cody on the list, he wanted Brock Lesnar.
I'll give it to Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar on the list. And now the reasons why you wanted Brock Lesnar.
I mean, Brock Lesnar, longest Universal Champion, multiple-time Universal Champion, multiple-time WWE Champion, headlined WrestleMania, had broke the Undertaker streak, has beaten Roman, Seth,
Triple H,
Cena. He destroyed Cena, Birth Suplex City. He's been dominant. He's been so dominant. I mean,
literally beating
everybody.
Anybody. Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles.
Finn Balor. You know what I'm saying? He's beating everybody. Dean Ambrose, Bray Wyatt, Shane. He's beating all of them. Randy Orton. Brutalized them. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when he's done his title reigns, he's not around a lot, but his impact, he's a draw. When Brock Lesnar comes around, he changes the atmosphere. Period.
It's true.
Period.
So, like you said, big debate. So we had to give him the nod. But Cody Rhodes, number 5.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 4. We have Daniel Bryan.
Yes!
No!
Yes!
No!
I really love it because I remember at WrestleMania 28, Daniel Bryan comes out, he gives AJ Lee a kiss, he gets booted in the face, and we just kind of thought, you can hear it there, you can hear that we were pissed off, but we were pissed. And that was the real birth of the Yes movement, because after that, everybody was just chanting, yes, yes, yes. And I have a ridiculously funny story that I will tell at another time about the yes chant and all that.
So, the beginning of the decade, Daniel Bryan is like,
he's coming in
fresh off of the NXT, coming off of that little rise of the Nexus. Mm-hmm. And, he ends up in this tag team with Team Hell No, Kane.
Yeah.
And
before we get there, just as a caveat to when we get there, he came in. That's when NXT, before it was a brand that it is now, it was like a dumb wrestling game show. Like it really was. They teamed him up with amateurs and pros, and I think as a rib to the inside audience, they teamed Daniel Bryan, who was was an internet darling, Red Dragon and Ring of Honor, killing it on the independent scene, and they make his pro the Miz, who was just like the king of soft. You basically put like the king of soft style with like one of the kings of strong style. It was just like, okay, you kind of, if you're inside, I feel like that was kind of a rib at like the insider fans.
I mean, it worked. Because
it did work.
You wanted to cheer for Daniel Bryan. You wanted to see the Miz get the better of by Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan's first United States title and title in WWE was beating the Miz.
Exactly.
So
things that started, you know what I'm saying, his future is his past. You know
his feud with the Miz lasted this entire decade. So but everything that he's done in between, yes.
with him literally being what I love about Daniel Bryan, like he was literally the underdog. They didn't book him to be the he was literally the underdog. They really did think he was a B. I feel like a lot of that stuff was storyline. A lot of stuff was shoot. They really did see him as a B+ player.
Yeah.
We, the audience, demanded that he be in the main event. We rallied, pushed, bitched, moaned, complained every week for him to be in the main event. He finally got there, and it might arguably be one of the biggest WrestleMania moments ever of all time.
He beats
Triple H.
Triple H in the beginning of the show to even get into the main event picture. Then he fights Batista and Randy Orton in a triple threat, which is basically a handicap match.
Do you remember how pissed we were at the Royal Rumble? We booed Rey Mysterio.
Roman Reigns was hated for years because Daniel Bryan didn't win that.
Facts. And we were pissed off at Rey Mysterio because he wasn't Daniel Bryan.
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the Yes Movement has been 6+ years going.
And he's getting back to it.
Bryan's been injured. He's retired in this decade. He's come back from retirement, back to the WWE Championship.
Went heel.
Changed.
He went heel.
Brand new character. The new Daniel Bryan.
Best works. Oh my gosh, yo. Honestly, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna straight up say this right now. I don't care if I ever become a wrestler. I am definitely a large part of my character will be taken from Daniel Bryan's heel. I'm straight up saying that right now. A large part of that will be borrowed.
Well, out of that, you had an idea for that Daniel Bryan went all the way with it.
Yeah. Count the sins. Hashtag count the sins.
Daniel Bryan, number 4 with the Yes Movement.
Yes.
Definitely one of the top 5 of the decade.
Facts.
So moving on to number 3. We have John Cena. Now, this decade, John Cena went from being the top star of the company, the face of the company, the guy, the champ, to literally dominating everybody.
So literally, you can't see him.
You can't see him anymore.
Unless you go to your local movie.
2019 was the first year that John Cena didn't touch every pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The first year in the whole decade.
It's crazy.
And, throughout this decade, multiple championships. Of course, it's John Cena. Multiple WrestleManias. But he went more into his retirement. Big up the youth.
Yeah.
Put people on.
And I love that.
He's in Hollywood now.
I love that, but I feel like that went too soon that immediately went
the retirement phase, right?
That immediately went.
Yeah.
You had so much. It's John.
I feel like they should have pulled the plug on him turning heel, and it would have changed everything. The demand for Cena would have been through the roof.
And would have been awesome about that because he literally couldn't have been there because he's actually doing movies. It's not like it's a storyline. No, he's really doing movies. He's really doing.
He could have literally been Hollywood Cena.
And think about imagine him with forget Brock. I like Brock, but imagine if he would have been the one with the championship and he would have just been away because he's doing movies as opposed to just.
People, oh my God, it would have worked.
It would work so
because
much
people
better.
have to respect Cena because of the work he's put in.
And he's been the clean white meat babyface for all these years.
But you're gonna hate him because he's with the, taking the belt.
Exactly.
John Cena is probably arguably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
He had the biggest WrestleMania of all time with The Rock. You don't have to like the card, but the numbers speak. They had the biggest WrestleMania of all time. You know what I'm saying?
And that's one of the biggest reasons why he's on this list. Even though this is his decline, We don't even know if we're gonna see much of Cena going into the next decade.
I think we're still going to see. I don't think we've seen John Cena's last match.
No, I think he's always gonna have a role to play, regardless, even if it's in the Stone Cold Rockish way.
When we look at his accolades, he had the first 5-star match of the decade with CM Punk. The rivalry with CM Punk, the rivalry with Randy Orton, Edge, Michaels, Batista, the rivalries he's had all throughout the years. It's been really awesome. He's been the man for. He's done it longer than anybody. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, he's been the man on top for longer than anybody. Yeah, sorry Hogan, because I feel like he did it better than Hogan. To be honest with you, I feel like he did it better.
No, he did.
He did it better than Hogan.
He did, because he did it in the modern era where the
no
work,
no YouTube. No social media. You didn't have to deal with no social media. You know what I'm saying? He did through all that. You know what I'm saying?
And in the era where the work rate is even crazier than the 80s, like not taking nothing away from them.
And he grew with the work. You know what I'm saying? John Cena has gotten better with his years of wrestling. He didn't decline like other people. He's gotten better. He grew with the times. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to
John Cena at number 3, top 5 wrestlers of the decade. Let's move on to number 2.
Ooh. A case. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Are we going to bring it back?
Are we finally going to bring it
Please
back?
Bring it back. It's been so long. This is from like season 2 or 3.
Maybe you don't know where you are right now. So before you hop and you puff and you continue to blow, let me remind you that this is the house that AJ Styles built.
Woo! AJ Styles.
He built multiple houses this decade.
He's built more.
He started this decade in TNA and Impact.
Killing it.
The decline of Impact under the Dixie Carter run.
He's the reason why I watch Impact. He's the reason why I watch Impact.
I mean, he's one of the reasons.
I was flipping through channels one day and I just seen him and Kurt Angle wrestle and I was just like, oh my gosh, what is this? What is this brand? Who is this kid wrestling Kurt Angle? This is some of the most amazing stuff I've ever seen. Like I was blown away by AJ Styles. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere he goes, he's phenomenal. Like, no pun intended.
And champion everywhere. So the decline of TNA in the Dixie era led him to leave. Now, if you think about it, he went from WCW pretty much straight into TNA.
Yeah,
he was homegrown TNA talent. So for AJ to feel compelled to leave, which probably was one of the best decisions of his career.
Yes, it was.
Was a big thing. Left there. Went
to
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, he became the IWGP.
Joined the Bullet Club, became the leader of the Bullet Club, becoming the IWGP champion.
Yep. Having classic matches. Yeah,
arguably one of the best phases of the Bullet Club.
Yeah, that's when the Bullet Club had the most championship reign. Everybody was champion. They literally took over all of New Japan Pro Wrestling. They had all the championship belts in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He had matches with Okada, Tanahashi, Kenny Omega. He had classic matches. Shinsuke Nakamura. Okay, for you fans that don't know,
their first classic wasn't in WWE.
That's why it was called a dream match, because nobody believed that. We couldn't believe that we had AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura having this dream match in WWE. That was definitely not their first time in the saddle.
We'll check the original New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yo, are you kidding me? Wrestle Kingdom 10?
Oh
no!
A little bit of the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly fell over.
It's a sign
from
the champion.
Yo, that is one of the definitely Wrestle Kingdom 10. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. Definitely go check that out.
Now he's at the height of his career.
He went WWE. He was WWE champion.
Debuting in the Royal Rumble for WWE.
He thought people weren't going to recognize him.
He ended up Iron Manning that Rumble.
Yeah.
He came out early. He spent like 40-something, 50-something minutes in that match.
Mm-hmm.
Big debut. We thought, oh my God, it's AJ Styles. Are they going to treat him right? They treated him great.
Yeah, they treated him
right. This man became WWE champion multiple times. The house that he built was on SmackDown.
Facts.
Face run, great. Heel run's been great. Multiple time United States champion. You know, he's doing big things. He
was WWE champion for over a year.
Gallows and Anderson, they formed a new version of the club in WWE.
The only club that matters according to them.
AJ Styles is a veteran. He's been all over the world. He's seasoned. Definitely a big grab for WWE. And
I really thought I really thought AJ Styles a couple of months ago was going to go to AEW, to be honest with you. Because his boys is over there. I thought all
money talks.
That's what it is. It's money.
And plus, AJ Styles wants to retire soon, so it kind of makes sense to retire in the company that's already well established and historical.
But that's why.
So AJ Styles probably got maybe a year or two left. But coming up from his rise in TNA to where he's at now, multiple time champion, well respected in WWE. That's why he's number
2.
Number 2.
Number 2. And
moving on
to number 1. Can we get drum roll?
We don't need a drum roll. The man sent his energy and knocked down a little bit of the bubbly. The champion wants the spotlight. So, number 1 goes to Chris Jericho. Le champion.
We give it to Y2J, a.k.a. the man of 1,004 holds.
The man of 1,000 gimmicks.
A.k.a. the man who made the list.
Excuse me.
A.k.a.
the lexicon.
Hold on. The Painmaker. A.k.a. the man who made the lexicon of Le Champion.
The Alpha.
A.k.a. the Alpha. You know what I'm saying? A.k.a. the AEW Le Champion. A.k.a. the guy who made a little bit of the bubbly. A.k.a. the libation of Le Champion. A.k.a. the leader of the inner circle. This Chris Jericho has reinvented himself so many times.
The Jerichos.
Like, he's the Jericho. Like
this man is a former undisputed champion. Beat The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night. In this decade, he's been the most intercontinental champion.
He started off this decade as the world heavyweight champion.
His gimmick then was amazing too.
That's when he was wearing the suits and he was talking really slow. And
pissing people off.
You stupid idiots. Do you understand me? And that was completely coming off of the flamboyant, flashy kind of suits. And yeah, baby, the Ayatollah rock and roller.
Completely different.
Completely switch it up. You know what I'm saying?
The suits, he really got people under the people's skin.
And then he went to start do. That's when he started doing kind of like that's like he really started getting kind of big with like Fozzy. Then he came back. What was his next gimmick after that?
He was saving us with the glitter jacket.
The glitter jacket. Oh, yeah, that's when he came back with the glitter jacket. He wouldn't even talk at first.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even talk at first. And everybody wanted him to talk. And he saved us. He came back with the glitter jacket. Then he left again. Then he came back with, I think he kind of just came back with, he kind of had the glitter, he was just talking, just kind of promos, kind of just regular Jericho. And then he left again. Then he came back, which is arguably one of his best reinventions. He just came out and I think that's when he developed the Midas touch.
Yeah, he was like, anything I do is going to be big.
He made the word, he got over the word it. You better watch it. And that's when the list, that's when the list of Jericho, the Festival of Friendships, the run with Kevin Owens. The run with Kevin Owens was one of the best, oh my God, hilarious. It was one of the best things just that WWE had. And that was actually what led him to leave the WWE. Because that was one of the hottest stories. And they bumped, Brock Lesnar Goldberg is definitely a big deal.
Is that Chris Jericho couldn't be someone who's creatively stifled.
Yeah.
That's really what WWE was doing. Yeah. Once he realized New Japan and the rise they were having, and
we didn't even get to, oh my gosh, bro, because right after that we get to New Japan and it's just like he reinvented
instantly
himself.
On the top of New Japan. Instantly has a classic with Kenny Omega.
That's what brought
That's what brought the elite. That's what brought the mainstream to us, as far as New Japan brought the elite.
That was what the seeds to start Kayfabe Avenue, to be honest with you. Seeing that, I was just like, whoa, these guys need to be talked about more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So his New Japan run, becoming the IWGP Intercontinental Champion, yet another Intercontinental belt in another company.
And then he changed his gimmick again because he felt like yo, the flashy jackets don't work here.
He was on his Agent Orange.
Yeah, that's when he became the Painmaker.
Painmaker.
You know what I'm saying? You got the pit, like the spiky jackets and the paint. You know what I'm saying? It's just another iteration of Jericho.
No, that was his alpha phase.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
He was on his alpha phase.
Yeah, that was alpha.
After his Omega, he was the alpha.
Yeah.
Then once he started facing Okada, that's when he switched to the Painmaker.
Yep, you're right.
Okada was the Rainmaker.
Yep, you're right.
So after that, now AEW's formed. Now, who's gonna be the first ever AEW World Champion? None other than Le Champion. And in the same night births a little bit of the bubbly.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly. You know,
literally a little bit of the bubbly.
This is
champagne. Yo. The champion, Le Champion, has his own champagne line. So much influence on AEW.
He has so much, like, honestly, like, he has so much. I feel like he has so much influence in the wrestling world. Like, I feel like he looks like a champion. He just looks like a champion. He literally says it. Like, I'm not like trying to blow his horn, but just like, you got the Midas touch, man. Cause everything touches the gold. Sammy Guevara, the Spanish God. Jack Swagger was a wrestler.
His gimmick now with the Inner Circle is completely. He's carrying. He's outside of Cody. He's literally carrying.
He's the ace. Yeah, like I give Cody the ace because he's gonna be the guy going in the future. But really, the real ace of AEW is Le Champion. You know what I'm saying? Jack Swagger in wrestling circles a couple years ago been laughed at. Now Jake Hager, the Big Hurt. Are you kidding me? The Big Hurt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Look at Jake Hager.
Instantly elevated someone who was unknown like Sammy Guevara.
The Spanish God.
Instantly gave more credentials to LAX.
You know what I'm saying? Proud and powerful. They were big before, but now just in association with Jericho, they're way big. They went from stars, now they're superstars.
Not only that, he's getting better, adding to his arsenal the Judas effect, elbow move.
Less is more.
You know,
less is
Jericho
more.
Is one of those that he's a chameleon. He's going to evolve over time. He's going to adapt to his surroundings.
Because he's not. And is he as athletic as he used to be? Of course not. But is his storytelling and his ring psychology is just
top notch. Honestly, almost I'd say probably 9 out of 10 of his matches were probably classics.
Yo, him and Cody
classics.
Him and Cody were one of the matches for me. That was full year. That's one of the matches here.
Him and Hangman, him and Kenny, him and
the match that he had in the beginning of the year
Okada.
With Okada. The match that he had in the beginning of the year with Tetsuya Naito. You know what I'm saying? Just like
I don't know. Isn't he gonna face?
He's gonna face Tanahashi
in Wrestle Kingdom. He's AEW champion, going to New Japan to face somebody in Wrestle Kingdom.
I'm hoping that leads to big. I'm hoping that leads.
So
that's
Chris Jericho undeniably the GOAT.
He's transformed himself from all his iterations from WWE to New Japan to AEW. He's always been a top guy. Even before that, before the decade before that, he was a top guy. You know what I'm saying? So this is just all running through. And in 30 years in the game, he's at the top of his game. How many people can say that? He's at the top of his game.
And not only that, he's not prone to injury. He keeps in great
Jericho
shape.
has gotten one injury throughout his whole career is when he broke his arm. That was like literally 20 years ago.
Unless you count the chip tooth.
Yeah, but, I mean, every wrestler, you get banged up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like big injuries, we got to go out for.
Which was a great match in this decade.
Yeah,
that match was great.
You know what I'm saying? So Jericho, the Le Champion.
How can we forget? Started his own kind of promotion on the sea. The Cruise of Jericho.
Yo, that's gonna
Ring of Honor tournament on the sea.
I cannot wait for January because they're gonna do episode of Dynamite on the Chris Jericho cruise. Jericho. It's gonna happen. That's another wrestling thing that's gonna happen. So who knows? Maybe in the future you'll see a Kayfabe Avenue from the Cruise of Jericho, from the Cruise of Le Champion.
Le Champion is number one.
Yes,
we can do this all day.
We can.
That was our top 5 wrestlers of the decade.
Yes.
The decade.
The whole decade.
So as we going into this next decade, who do you see as probably the next top 5 of this decade?
Kenny Omega. He's already started to prove himself at the end of this decade. If he would have been there early in the decade, he would have been up there. Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, Kota Ibushi, Cody Rhodes, Young Bucks, SCU, Andrade Cien Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks. Just give these girls more of it.
Kevin Owens.
Let them be them more. You know what I'm
A lot
saying?
of people have the potential to
Kevin,
be
Seth
the
freaking
stars
Rollins, AOP.
of the decade.
Yes, there's a lot of future people.
A lot of wrestling going on.
I think Roman Reigns is probably going to retire earlier than you probably think. I think
Probably.
he's probably going to retire.
But
There's
a lot to look forward to.
A lot to look forward to that decade. Yeah, the wrestling landscape across from WWE
in this last 10 years.
You know what I'm saying? From WWE to House of Glory, there's so many wrestlers, men, women, announcers, referees that are all coming up, and we're gonna change the whole landscape and make this the best decade of wrestling. Kayfabe is where you can find us.
Maybe in 10 years we do a Kayfabe episode looking back, and we were saying,
yeah, we will.
The turn of the
decade.
decade.
See the turn of the decade, man. Turn of the decade, man.
They can find me at Kayfabe_AJ on Instagram.
You can find me at Mr. Richie Moore or at Kayfabe Avenue. You know we can do this all day, baby.
Join our Facebook group at Kayfabe Avenue.
Subscribe to us on YouTube at Kayfabe Avenue. Kenny, it has been a good one. Take us home for the decade.
Goodbye. And good night. Bang!